final segment of the show for today. The topic is the MLK Memorial dedication in Washington, D.C., and the guest is Dr. Lewis Baldwin from Vanderbilt University and a scholar on the life and times of Dr. Martin Luther King. And of course, Dr. Baldwin, let's pick up where we left off the last time. And I think it has been said that there were many speeches made at this memorial dedication, but that President Obama made one that is worth recalling and etc. So let's recall what the president had to say at this time.
Yes, President Obama's speech, I think, was the keynote speech at the dedication ceremonies. First thing he did, of course, was to say that this represented a return of King to the National Mall.
Okay.
Clearly he had a sense of what happened when King appeared there in 1963 to give the I Have a Dream speech. President Obama also said that King gave voice to our deepest dreams and our most precious ideals and values. And he represented the very best in the American tradition of creative protest and dissent. So he put King in that context. He also said that King voiced the ideals and values of all freedom-loving people.
Okay,
so you get a sense from that speech of the global King as well, the international Martin Luther King Jr. And then he challenged us to continue the struggle because he too, as Martin III and Bernice King had done prior to his speech, is to say to us that we need to do more in terms of creating a society in which there is economic justice, in which people have jobs, a guaranteed income, guaranteed health care. It's interesting that Obama could speak on a very personal level to King's dream because that's been a part of his mission, to bring about universal health care, to bring about jobs, to guarantee an income for every family. So he spoke, I think, on a very personal level and was able to connect King's dream with his own mission as President of the United States.
Very good. And so in a real sense, the dedication was far-reaching. Not only did it touch people in the United States of America, but it touched people no matter what their situation might be all over the world.
Exactly.
And I guess that must be what you mean when you talk about a global king.
Exactly, exactly. Because Obama realizes that we live in the age of globalization now. The world has become smaller. The means of communication, you have communication technologies, information technologies, transportation technologies that have brought us closer together. And Obama realizes that in this age of globalization, we need to reclaim Dr. King, not only around the issues of race, but around these issues of economic injustice and international peace, that King has a message for us today. So it's not merely a matter of looking back to what King meant in the 1950s and 60s, but what he means for us today.
But it's a matter of looking forward.
Exactly.
And the king of the future. Not only is he a global king, but he's also the king of the future.
Exactly.
Which you say that his ideas are good even now as well as the future.
The future.
Why are they so good? I mean,
because we have not fulfilled Dr. King's dream. And I think not only President Obama, but Andrew Young, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and Bernice King, his daughter, and Martin III, his son, they all made it clear that, you know, we are celebrating Dr. King here, but we don't live in a post-racial society yet. We don't live in a society where people have economic justice, where there is no poverty. So we have to think in terms of the fulfillment of this dream. Dr. King left us before his dream was fulfilled. And what they were all saying is that we have a responsibility to continue to pursue that dream to realization or to actualization, that it is in our hands. We must become now the caretakers of that dream, of that vision, and bring it to fruition.
Well, do you think that this dedication will do anything, Dr. Baldwin, in terms of making people more conscious of the celebration of Dr. King's birthday?
That's an excellent question.
You know, because,
Yeah.
you know.
I think so. Now, people can go from all parts of the world to Washington, D.C. on the National Mall, and they can view this granite structure of Dr. King, this granite sculpture, 30-foot structure. And I think it says a lot because Dr. King is the only African American, a person of color, on that mall with a memorial. The only non-president. He's there with Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Franklin Roosevelt.
All right.
So it says a lot to us about what we can achieve as a people, because I think it's not only about what Dr. King achieved, but it is about the collective achievement of a people.
Very good.
The monument, and I think that's one of my problems with the monument. I don't think it conveys that enough. The focus is on Dr. King. But Dr. King always said that the achievements in this struggle have come because of the collective involvement of people of color and white, well-meaning white people, people of all races, people of all religions, people of all political persuasions. So I think we have to see it in that light. The monument is not only a sort of dedication to Dr. King and his involvement in the struggle and what he achieved, but I think it is about the collective achievement of a people, freedom-loving people who saw the need to bring America in line with her democratic creed, who saw the need to transform the world so that we could live in a world devoid of poverty, economic injustice, racism, and war.
And considering where the people came from in 1865 after slavery, those are some high ideals and high expectations.
Exactly.
And those are indeed real accomplishments, Dr. Baldwin. While a lot of folks might not wish to recognize it, but to be able to come to leave as a freedman.
Exactly.
To leave slavery as a freedman, and then to eventually end up, as Dr. King ended up, to have one of us on the mall, as well as one of us sitting in the White House.
Oh, man.
I think that's enough encouragement in terms of people who might not be familiar with what has been achieved and who might wish to downplay or perhaps diminish
That's right.
what has been achieved. I think it's a real achievement. And
That's right.
As a matter of fact, Dr. Baldwin, I think that it's an achievement that not many Africans recognize and take advantage of.
Exactly.
To understand that this has been accomplished.
Exactly.
I think that that's a great achievement.
It says a lot about from whence we've come, but as we look at that, we need to keep in mind that we have a long way to go before we realize the fulfillment of Dr. King's dream. And I think that came across not only in the speech of Obama, but in the speeches that were given by Bernice King, Martin III, Andrew Young, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. They were all talking about, even as we look back, we need to look forward. We look back at what King gave us, what he did, what he accomplished, but we also need to look forward in terms of what we might do to fulfill that dream.
And I think that this will be aired certainly before the Dr. Martin Luther King birthday celebration, but what can we say about that? I mean, why is there such a non-participation of so many people in such an event as this?
I think the problem is that people don't have a sense of what King was about or what the struggle was about, and that's true not only in the larger community, but in the African-American community. I think we all need to work through our institutions, the churches, the schools, the family, to bring people to a greater sense of what this struggle was all about in the 1950s and 60s. And once people get a sense of what that struggle is all about, they'll understand better what the national holiday is all about. It's about not only celebrating what happened then, but also devoting ourselves to continuing Dr. King's unfinished work. And I think that's the unfortunate part of it. We have done a poor job of getting across the history of the movement and what that movement means in terms of the continuing challenge that we face.
Very good. Of course, Dr. Ball, let me thank you for bringing that excellent information to us today, and I'm sure that our audience appreciates that. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.